Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It's Friday, February 8th, the 39th day of the year. Lots to talk about, a whole lot of stories today surrounding the number 39. And before we get to those stories, I want to start with this day in history. Appreciate everyone who's here this evening. I see Ken B in the chat asking if this code of letters and numbers applies to the stock market. The answer is absolutely. Absolutely. So let's go through the presentation, can take some questions at the end. A lot of people often ask, how far back does this code go? And within the English language, I'd say it probably goes back at least 500 or so years. And this example from history is perfect. Of course, this code of letters and numbers goes all the way back to Babylon. It predates English, but how long has it existed within the English language? I think it existed even before English was standardized as a 26-letter alphabet. For example, February 8th, 1587, Mary, Queen of Scots, was beheaded in England after she was implicated in a plot to murder her cousin, Queen Elizabeth I. Off with her head. So look at this. From Mary, Queen of Scots' birthday, December 8th, to the day she was beheaded, February 8th, it was 62 days later. 62. One queen orders the execution of another queen. And using the alphabetic order, queen equals 62. Again, Queen Elizabeth II, she began her reign as a queen on February 6th, the date that can be written 6/2. Her coronation ended up being on June 2nd, another date that can be written 6/2. So you just got to say, what are the odds? The word sacrifice also has gematria of 62. On this day in history, the Boy Scouts were formed. And there's probably more to this, but right away, not only was 1910, February 8th, the 39th day of the year, but it was also a date with 39 numerology, and the word boy happens to have gematria 39. So the Boy Scouts formed on the 39th day of the year. In 1924, on this day, the first execution by gas in the United States took place at the Nevada State Prison in Carson City, as G. John, a Chinese immigrant convicted of murder, was put to death. You know, we're only on episode 62, but we've covered a lot of these firsts in terms of executions, and they're always perfect with the date. So anyway, February 8th, 24, it was a date with 34 numerology. Murder equals 34. A murderer put to death by the state. Murder for murder. February 8th can be written 2/8, kills 28. This happened in Carson City, which has gematria of 46, like execution, also like sacrifice. And with regards to the guy's name being John 39, he had the J-O-N spelling, not using the H, 39th day of the year. In 1952, on this day, Queen Elizabeth II proclaimed her ascension to the British throne following the death of her father. Her father died February 6th. That's when her reign began. She let it be known February 8th, 52, which was a date with 62 numerology as well. So 2/6 death, 6/2 death. Then on the 62 date, 2 days later, she lets it be known, Queen 62, the same day that Queen Elizabeth I beheaded Mary. In 1965, on this date, Eastern Airlines Flight 663 crashed shortly after takeoff from New York's John F. Kennedy International Airport. All 84 people on board were killed. And a flight out of New York, we're going to talk about New York in the news today, but the New York number is always 39. Everything about New York is 39. History, sports, everything. Established on a date with 39 numerology. We'll talk more about New York and 39 up ahead, but just interesting that flight was out of New York. Also on this day, another plane crash. Italian tourists, they said 144 people killed when they hit the mountain Azores, or is it the Azores? I don't know how you say it. Doesn't matter. Either way, Gematria of 39 on the 39th day. In that year, it was a date with 118 numerology. What do we know about 118? Death in Jewish Gematria, 118, always a deadly number. Again, just this past year, November 8th, 11/8, the deadliest fires in California state history. Just talking about how something similar happened in Australia in history. I noticed the Olympics, the Winter Olympics, have started multiple times on this date in history, and it's a fitting date for it to start. It wasn't just 1992, but the word Olympic 39, the 92 games started on this day. 1 year ago today, last year this day, the federal government stumbled into a shutdown that would end by morning. It's second in less than a month. The Dow Jones Industrial plunged more than 1,000 points. Consider the Dow Jones, the Wall Street's headquartered in New York. And the Eagles celebrated their Super Bowl beating the Patriots, which was a revenge game. They'd lost to the Patriots in Super Bowl 39. So then on the 39th day of the year, celebrating beating the Patriots. But notice, Federal's 39, federal shutdown. Dow Jones 39, you know, the Dow Jones tanks 1,000 points. And then you got the Super Bowl parade, which had a riddle with history. And for the guy who asked about the market, recall last year, Friday before the Super Bowl, it was February 2nd, the 33rd day of the year. The Dow Jones fell 666 points. Dow Jones sums to 33 as well. So does New York. Dow Jones also sums to 666. So on the 33rd day of the year, you get the Dow Jones falling 666 points. We just talked about the other day how the Dow's record drop that Monday after the Super Bowl had the same gematria as fly, eagles, fly. And again and again, the points in the markets, they're riddles. We talked about that in a big way before even what happened October 10th, 2018, the date that was foreshadowed by The Economist magazine, January 9th, 1988. All right, so Jeff Bezos, we're getting a lot of Jeff Bezos news by the numbers. In Seattle company, Amazon in Seattle, Seattle 19, it's 2019. On January 9th, we got the story about Jeff Bezos divorcing his wife. There's been several headlines since. One of which is today, the 39th day of the year. We get a story about how the feds are getting involved. The federal government getting involved on the 39th day of the year, of course. Federal 39. Another Amazon story today. They're rethinking their move to New York. Maybe they don't want to move to New York. This comes on the 39th day of the year. Remember, New York with the alphabetic order and rules of numerology, 39. The abbreviation NY with the alphabetic order, 39. The reverse alphabetic order, NYC for New York City, NYC 39. The reverse alphabetic order in numerology, New York, comma, NY 39. It's the Empire State, Empire's 39. New York, established on a date with 39 numerology. The first governor, George Clinton, born in 1739. George and Clinton equal 39. We've counted so many examples of 39 in New York over the years. Some recent ones, the blue sky over New York, supposedly the transformer explosion, that was on a date with 39 numerology. Remember how First Take ESPN show moved to New York and they began broadcasting from New York on September 3rd, 9/3. And not only that, but they began a countdown on ESPN on July 26th, which is New York's birthday. 39 days until their move on September 3rd. ESPN putting it right in front of everybody's face. 39 days until the move to September 3rd. Just New York in 39. Their peas in a pod. The World's Fair was there in 39. The United Nations building in New York is 39 floors tall. Every 39th week of the year, they have their big annual meeting at the location in New York. Every New York Super Bowl comes back to the number 39. There's a million other things I'm forgetting right now. It's just New York and 39, it never ends. And on the 39th day, Amazon rethinking it, of course. So Coca-Cola, the big soda company on the 39th day announces a new flavor. They're coming out with orange vanilla. And perfect. 39th day of the year, soda equals 39. The word new has Gematria 39. Major corporations do everything by this code. Again, there's a short film on YouTube that you can watch called Gematria. Professionally done film. It's only about a half hour long and not a real exciting film. Pretty boring, honestly. If you just want to skip to the end of the film, at the end, this guy comes out of nowhere and explains that Gematria is this knowledge used by elites and corporations. And of course it is. You know, yesterday we had the $66 billion bank merger to form the world's sixth largest bank. What I missed yesterday is the word merger equals 66. The whole 666 thing is what caught my attention. Here was another story that CNN carried as one of their top headlines this morning. Girl, 5, abducted, raped, and murdered in Mumbai. And you just got to go. Well, I mean, yeah, tragic story. Tragedy's always in the news. But I mean, really, these types of things happen every day in this world. So why is this a top headline on the 39th day of the year? Now, the story didn't supposedly happen today. It supposedly happened just yesterday, but it's already a top news headline today. So the girl was abducted, raped, and murdered yesterday. Yesterday had 48 date numerology, abducted 48. Yesterday had 28 date numerology as well, raped 28. Stories out of India, India 28. And the story comes from the 38th day of the year. Death, murder, killing, RIP, they're all 38. So yesterday's date encompasses everything in this headline. But the news comes today, the 39th day of the year, and it's about an Indian girl and an Indian tragedy. Again, just manufacturing news by the numbers, and that's what the mainstream media does every single day. Case in point, chapter 12 of my book, how everything about the history of the space program from the US to the rest of the world, every space story that's ever been created has been created by this code. On the 39th day of the year, we get a story that the Milky Way isn't going to crash into the Andromeda galaxy in 3.9 billion years. It's not going to crash in 3.9 billion years. Notice Andromeda is 39. Instead, it's going to crash in 4.5 billion years. Who can prove that or disprove it? Again, today's also February 8th, the 39th day of the year. That's why you get this 39 story. Space, NASA, Mason, it's all 28. Masonry, secrecy, 39. I should mention that Genesis equals 39, the first of 39 books in the Old Testament. The Apollo mission where they orbited the moon supposedly on Christmas Eve, they read from the book of Genesis, the same book that talks about how the earth is separated by the firmament. Again, space programs of the world controlled by Masonry. Masonry works by this code. Also today, put out a video on this just in case you missed it. The 39-year-old Lieutenant Governor of Virginia. Today, he's accused of rape while attending Duke University in 2000. Notice he's 39 years old. The story goes back to when he was a member of the Blue Devils. Blue Devils 39. Duke Blue Devils also sums to 82. Today's February 8th, can be written 8/2. Duke, rape, and basketball are all 22. Duke known for its basketball team. Tomorrow, Saturday, Duke plays Virginia. This guy's the Virginia Lieutenant Governor. The story comes a day before the Duke-Virginia basketball game. And story also comes on a date with 22 numerology. The guy's named Justin Fairfax, has Gematria to go with basketball. But here's the ultimate kicker. From the day the news broke, the 39th day of the year, to the start of the March Madness tournament, which began in 1985. From today to the start of the March Madness tournament is 39 days from now. For one more, 39. It's also 1 month and 11 days. Blue Devils also equals 111. So does the full name of Zion Williamson. Got to put his middle name in there, Latif. And for one more kicker, from today to the end of the tournament, when the college basketball tournament ends, is 59 days. Justin Fairfax is also 59. So no doubt this is that annual sports story that's a big clue for the men's tournament. We see this every single year. And I can't tell you what it was last year because I was working at this time. I was finishing my book, and then I was starting to drive for Uber and Lyft, and I was too busy to pick up on the riddles last year. But 2 years ago, I can remember what it was. We called North Carolina beating Gonzaga off of what was being riddled through the bathroom bill in the Carolinas, same region. That was about, can the trannies use the bathroom? And then the women's team that won the tournament was also the South Carolina Gamecocks, who they referred to as the Ladycocks. So the Ladycocks won the tournament that had to do with the bathroom bill about, can the trannies use the bathroom? Ladycocks. Think about it. Okay, another story today. Matthew Whitaker, the new attorney general who replaced the little guy. What was his name? Can't even remember his name now. Jeff Sessions. Jeff Sessions, who resigned by the code. Matthew Whitaker replaced him by the numbers. We covered all this in December. So today, Matthew Whitaker goes under testimony for, what's he know about the Trump investigation. From his birthday to today's 103 days. That's the 27th prime number. Matthew's 27. Don't forget, Matthew's the first of 27 books in the New Testament. Rituals 27. Of course it was. He's 49 years old, Matthew Whitaker. Big number in Washington. Washington equals 49. Today's date has 49 numerology. Barbara Boxer. Her commentary on it was getting a lot of attention. Barbara Boxer is a retired politician from California. And at first I was like, why are they going to Barbara Boxer? I mean, she's not even in office anymore. But sure enough, I just had to take a look and I was like, oh, that's why. I wrote August 2nd, my fault. On February 8th, 2/88/2, we hear from Barbara Boxer. Barbara Boxer 82, Boxer 28. So of course. And then, of course, today's the 39th day of the year. Federal Masonry secrecy. They're all 39. Big federal news story. The Attorney General for the Oval Federal Office. Here were some more top headlines today. Look at how they do this on the 39th day of the year. You get the 39-year-old Lieutenant Attorney General, Lieutenant Governor, the 39-year-old Lieutenant Governor. Then you get Meghan McCain, the daughter of John McCain, who was the senator in Arizona 39. And then you get the story that was big on Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday and his holiday, the story that was hanging around for that period of time. MLK and Malcolm X killed at age 39. The segregation era ended in 39. So all of these stories relate to 39. And the story today is that GM put out a $25,000 reward for whoever put up the noose and the whites only sign. Don't forget the word white equals 25, like how all the women were wearing white at the State of the Union on 2/5, where all the guests or nearly every guest had a 25 or 52 name gematria. Same weight as every single year. Kellyanne Conway also came out today and described her assault, very vague, but supposedly she was assaulted in October by a 63-year-old woman. And of course, Kellyanne Conway equals 63. But with regards to the assault being in October, it's the month that has the 39 gematria. Go figure. On the 39th day, she recalls this story. And Maryland, as a state, has that gematria 47, the big number in D.C. Everything 47 in D.C. Jeremy White, he gave me the heads up on this story. This one's big where he is in the world. Supposedly 5 black teenagers. Here we are in Black History Month. When you write out 5, it equals 42, like February, number stamped all over Black history. Supposedly 5 black teenagers murdered a white musician. And this is big news today. And the name of the musician is Kyle Yortlitz. Never heard of him before. He might be big in Nashville. I don't know most musicians these days, but this news comes today, the 39th day of the year. Nashville has that gematria 39. Kyle Yortlitz equals 167, the 39th prime number. So it just makes you wonder. I mean, is the story real? Is there a Kyle Yortlitz? Do any of these people exist? Was this man ritually murdered and being blamed on 5 black teenagers? Hard to say what's going on. But Very strange how the news comes on the 39th day. And again, from national news to local news, you'll see how news is contrived by this code when you're aware of it. Another headline today: White House refuses to meet Congress deadline on Khashoggi killing. Of course, everything about this Jamal Khashoggi story, by the numbers, covered it very thoroughly. Countless videos on it, even the Time magazine part of the riddle. But check this out. From the day of his supposed death, October 2nd, to this deadline being missed is a span of 130 days. And remember, this guy worked for the Washington Post. Now the deadline being missed in Washington at the White House. Washington has the gematria of 130 and 49. And today's date has the 49 numerology. Khashoggi also has the 49 connection. Everything about Khashoggi by the numbers. 4 months and 7 days. What do we know about 47? White House 47, President 47, government 47, authority 47, Republican 47, Democrat 47, Trump 47, DC 47. News by the numbers. And by the way, the word news equals 47. Khashoggi, a newsman. I noticed this today. We were talking about the death of Emiliano Sala. We speculated maybe his death was a ritual for the upcoming Super Bowl. It was clearly a murder by numbers, the story of his plane going down. And then, lo and behold, while it was still February 3rd in the United States, and it was February 4th in Europe, but while it was still February 3rd in the United States, the day of the Super Bowl, the headlines emerged about how his plane was found that he crashed in. And now today, it's confirmed that he died in the plane. And look at this photo right here. Look at this 26. That was the number that defined this NFL season, which we called before the season even began. We said it was all about 26. The AFC would get its 26th Super Bowl. It would be the Patriots. Lo and behold, one touchdown scored by number 26, the man, Sony Michel, who was from Georgia, who played college football at Georgia. He scored that touchdown 351 days after his birthday, the 26th triangular. And then they say this is the wreckage from the plane, and all you can make out clearly is the 26. Just makes you wonder, is any of this stuff really happening? Is this football player really dead? Has he retired? Is he like made to retire for this ritual? Was he made to get in this plane on purpose? I mean, I still have questions, but I see what they're doing. I see what they're doing. And with regards to today's date, can be written 8/2. New England Patriots won the Super Bowl. New England Patriots 82, like the date. Today's day has the 49 numerology. NFL Super Bowl, both 49. Super Bowl 53 was the 49th Super Bowl of the modern era. Just in case somehow you missed my prior work on this man's death, his plane crashed on his 83rd day of his age. Football 83, so was murder. His birthday was October 31st. 1031, like 131, Super Bowl 131, championship 131. When you write out 57 as a word, 131, it was the Patriots' 57th playoff game. Notice he was 28 years old, too. And then it's confirmed on February 8th, 2/8. But also, they said his plane crashed at 8:30 p.m. local to go with the 83s. 83 is the 23rd prime. The Super Bowl was on February 3rd, 2/3. The day it crashed, January 21st, 21/1, like 211, which matches his full name gematria. The date can also be written 1/21, like 121, blood sacrifice, 121. So no doubt, this is all a Super Bowl ritual. And we've covered a number of deaths since the Super Bowl. International football players who've all dropped dead since the game, who all have the numbers connecting with the Patriots. So no doubt, worldwide, New World Order, this is what's going on. Are people really being murdered? Are the deaths being fake? That's the only question I have. Switching gears here, the bridge that collapsed in Italy. August 14th, 2018. You might recall that story. Today, they began demolishing the rest of the bridge with plans to rebuild it. And why did they wait until today? Well, from the day the bridge collapsed to today is 179 days, which is the 41st prime number. And the word demolish equals 41. And right when I saw that demolish is 41, I'd never had that realization before today. It took me back to September 11, 2001. Now notice Morandi Bridge equals 119, like the date September 11th, 11/9. Also 74, like how the World Trade Centers were on the 74th meridian. I'll remind you, Manhattan Project, the World Trade Centers in Manhattan, the Manhattan Project, which supposedly led to nuclear weapons, powerful weapons, nuclear energy weapon, they all summed to 74. The World Trade Centers turned to dust as they fell to the ground. But the thing about September 11, 2001 is it was a date with 41 numerology. And we usually talk about how Al-Qaeda equals 41. But now I'm just thinking about that. I'm thinking, wait a minute, demolish 41? Because that's exactly what happened to the World Trade Centers. Clearly demolished. So I'll let you be the judge. No doubt this is the ritual, though, with the bridge. And shout out to this guy, 260-3496. He's the one that let me know about this. I would have missed this story if it weren't for him. And he caught another story about a bridge today, which we'll get to as well. By the way, bridge and Friday have overlapped, this demolition on a Friday. In light of our eyes being on San Francisco this year, I couldn't help but notice that Morandi Bridge collapse, what the event's known as, equals 202. So does San Francisco. Remember, our whole riddle with August 11th began with the number 202 being encoded. And Morandi Bridge collapse is also 122, like San Francisco, which is on the 122nd meridian. So, just thinking about it, interesting. This same user caught another bridge story today. Great work here by him. This is all him. All lanes of Interstate 580 on the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge were closed for hours Thursday, this is yesterday, Thursday morning after large chunks of concrete started falling from the upper deck onto the lower level, according to the California Highway Patrol. By 3 p.m., one lane had been open in each direction. So what he noticed is from the date the bridge was open, September 1st, going back to the day of this incident, February 7th, was 206 days. And look at the name of the bridge, Richmond-San Rafael Bridge 206. Rituals, rituals, rituals. And highly doubt that's a coincidence. Masonic Temple has the Gematria of 206 as well. Freemasonry 58, it's Interstate 580. We know how these people love to inconvenience the masses with their rituals. Think more about it. Maybe there's something more going on there. So, Lil Baby, famous rapper, newer name in the industry, Lil Baby busted by the cops. Supposedly he was driving recklessly, trying to get away from the cops. He was driving his orange Corvette. This happened yesterday, February 7th. And February 7th, 27, look at Lil Baby, 27. I think this is another black shaming ritual in Black History Month. This news came 66 days after his birthday or on his 67th day of his age. With regards to 66, again, that's the 11th triangular number. Black equals 11. 67 is a big number this year. 67 is the 19th prime number. Here we are in 2019. I wonder if somebody got him that orange Corvette just for the stunt, just so more people witness it. If you've seen the pictures the media put out, he was laying down on his stomach on the street, getting arrested. Another suspicious death in the headlines. Radio show host Doc Thompson, and I don't know if this guy's really 49. Every article has a different age for this man. But the story is he was jogging by the train tracks with earbuds in and must not have seen the train coming and got in the way of the train. Hard to imagine this happening. It happened in Haltom City, Texas. Haltom City, gematria of 170, like sacrifice. 154 like ritual sacrifice, 64 like kill. He died February 5th, a date that can be written 5/2 or 2/5. He went by the name Doc Thompson, 52. Death, 25. And every news source was sure to report that he was wearing earbuds. When police arrived on the scene, they found a pair of wireless earbuds, creating the excuse for maybe why he didn't hear the train. Earbuds, 25 to go with the 2/5 date. Because there's not a lot of other information out there on this man, it's hard to figure out the rest of the riddle, but it's clear to see why this happened to him February 5th. The news emerged yesterday, the 38th day of the year. As we know, death, 38. That was the big theme yesterday. Another story that's made some rounds in the news. Very famous rabbi dead at 67. And again, 67, the 19th prime. Here we are in 2019. I couldn't help but notice he was born July 11th. Last year, we covered the article, The Secret Jewish History of 7/11. It was that brilliant New York caller who put me onto that article. Great find. But this man here, dead February 6th. Date that can be written 6/2, like 62, sacrifice 62. I noticed from his birthday to his date of death was his 211th day of his age. 211, the 47th prime. He also died on a date with 47 numerology. Big numbers there. And with regards to him dying at age 67, again, his name is Rabbi Yechiel Eckstein. His first name, gematria 67. His last name, gematria of 86. Blood sacrifice 67 and 86. Notice, has a presence in Chicago. Chicago, very Zionist city. Chicago, the city divided into 77 neighborhood areas. Judaism, 77. Zionist, 77. Last night, we did cover this last night. This story broke just as I was getting on for the live stream. John Dingell dead at 92, a death that nobody would ever question. Again, what was interesting about his death is he died on the 38th day of the year, death 38, and he died 151 days from his upcoming birthday, which is the 36th prime, and Dingell has that gematria 36. So yesterday I didn't have that in a very clear presentation, so I just wanted to get it up there. And big news this morning, Albert Finney, the actor, dead at 82, dead just before the 91st Oscars, and he's nominated for an Oscar. Put out a video on this in case you missed it. He did die yesterday, the 38th day of the year. And in light of the 91st Oscars coming up, also known as the Academy Awards, Academy equals 38. They're going to be on a date with 38 numerology this year. And from his date of death, February 7th, to what would have been his 83rd birthday, 91 days. And again, dead just before the 91st Oscars. How perfect. His date of passing, also a date with 48 numerology. Hollywood has that gematria 48, like Illuminati. And Hollywood is known for its Illuminati symbolism. At least to people who are awake. The Guardian emphasized angry young man 67, like blood sacrifice, like Albert Finney. Again, 67, the 19th prime. We're talking about this almost every single day. Almost every single day we're talking about this pattern. The name Albert Finney actually carries a lot of interesting gematria. 59, kill in Jewish gematria is 59. 193, the 44th prime, kill 44. Albert equals 58. He began his acting career in 58. Of course, Freemasonry, secret society, 58. Finney also 73, like sacrifice and ritual sacrifice. Wanted to read this message right here. Fellow Washingtonian, Robert writes, very new to your work, but you are making it all make sense. I'm a diehard Rams fan, and this year's season, mainly preseason and the Super Bowl, the script couldn't have stuck out more clear. So after holding my 8-year-old son while he was bawling his eyes out because the Rams lost, I told myself I must get to the bottom of this and do a little more research. And lo and behold, I found your work right off the bat. I'll be the first to admit I've been watching your videos literally 16 to 24 hours a day ever since Sunday. As soon as seasonal layoff ends and I get back to work, I'm subscribing to your Patreon. I absolutely cannot get enough, and I've never been one to ever look or even think in the conspiracy or a legitimate kind of way. Always chose to deny and play it off as nothing. I'm still learning and listening, and I truly believe you have nailed it, brother. It all makes so much sense not to. I live in Washington State also, so that keeps it that much more interesting for me. I can tell in this short time you absolutely work your ass off to uncover this propaganda, fake BS, and I thank you for that. Once I can follow your live prediction vids on Patreon and can see your predictions come to life before they happen, I will be 100% believer in your work and what's really going on. Many blessings, and keep it up. So I appreciate, it sounds like he's really doing this for his child. You know, he raised his son to be a Rams fan. He's starting to see things aren't right. He sees his son crying. So he's like, wait a minute, have I put my son on the wrong path? And he went out there and did his homework, and he has good judgment. So love reading long responses like that. Chris Fisk, another guy in the comments, always making great observations. He'll play around with the other ciphers, but he noticed some things in these space ciphers. Something, it's one of the reasons I love making videos too, because people will always watch the video and then they'll take it further. And that's the beauty of the teamwork. So we are done about 20 minutes early. I kind of went fast today. We had a really long episode yesterday, nearly 2 hours. If anybody wants to call in, anything to share, the number is 509-731-0567. Again, it's 509-731-0567. If you'd like to call in, the line is open. If not, we can wrap it up and we can move on with our Friday night. Funny, it's 7:39 right now. Maybe we should just sign off at the 39th minute of the day, since that's the number of the day. Oh, no, we got a caller. What's going on, Pennsylvania?
Hey, how you doing, Zach?
Doing well, thank you.
Good, good. I'm going to make this real short and sweet. I had called you several times and told you that the Flyers, I believe, are going to be the favorites, or at least my favorites, to win the Stanley Cup. I did a little. I found another discovery, and it actually ties to August 11th. So if you were to write out like August 11th or August 11th, you can write as 8/11. If you take out the slash, you can write as 811.
Right.
So if you were to write Philadelphia Flyers, and if you were to write out 811 in words, Philadelphia Flyers and 811 match in 3-4 base ciphers.
Huh, that's interesting. And then we have the Philadelphia riddle in San Francisco with the baseball team being there that day to remember the earthquake team.
Right.
Interesting.
And of course, you have the the 223, Philadelphia equaling 223, and August 11 being the 223rd day of the year.
Interesting. Good work. Yeah, I'll take a look at that. Good observation.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, caller. I appreciate it, man. You have a good night.
Yeah, you too. You have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Interesting. I believe Rich was trying to phone in. Rich, you can call back in if you want. Rich at Daily Dose of Gematria. See him. Facebook, Daily Dose of Gematria. Rich is trying to help spread the word.
Hey, what's up? Am I on here?
You're on, man. What's going on?
Well, you know what I'm calling for, Zach, but I want to call out the admins on Daily Dose of Gematria right now, if I could take a second.
Yeah, please.
Why am I always the one calling in here to try to get the 7th box of business cards sold?
Because people aren't as passionate about it as you are, Rich.
Well, I think if they were half as passionate, they would have a case of cards that would be like, yeah, I can order one of those. And it's fun. I didn't hand any out, but I just tell people. I got someone to like our pages today in a government place I had to go to, So I just don't want to be the only face of Daily Dose of Gematria, and I know a couple of them are listening in the comments. So
Right.
So I don't know, Zach, if you want to go ahead and encourage people to get a case. You get 500 cards. Think of all the people you could just hand a card to, and they have 5 places to find you on that card, and it totally advertises how scripted everything is. Come see, So I think there's 7 people right now, so that's 3,500 cards. I can't wait till 30 people have a case of cards. Just think of all the ground that'll be covered there. So that's all I got.
I appreciate it, Rich.
Come to Daily Dose. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
I just put up on the screen Daily Dose of Gematria. Is going to let people know the way to get in contact with you is to go to Facebook, look for the group Daily Dose of Gematria, and just shoot you a message and say, hey, I'd like to get some of those cards to help spread the word.
And this isn't a page where it's like, oh, somebody came and liked my page and liked the video. That's not why I do this, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm trying to teach everybody out there, and just imagine if 100 more people were doing what I'm doing. Think of the reach we would get here. And that's the only way to fight this is by making everybody know. So that's why the page is your page. The page is everybody's page.
Absolutely.
Come and share the shit out of it, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Talk to people. Don't be lazy. That's all I got. Love you all.
Thanks again, Rich. Keep it up.
Oh, yes, sir.
Take care. Hey, I think I might have an organic Gematria story from today that I didn't realize until just now. But hold on. Let me go to gematria.com and see if this is right. I think that it actually might be. Oh, my God. It is. Ruffles equals 39. Okay. So today I was at the grocery store, and my lady, she doesn't really eat any junk food, but she likes Ruffles. Ruffles are her thing. And I saw that if you bought 5, you got a really good deal. Like it made it a fraction of the cost. It was like you get 5 bags for less than the cost of what 2 normally are. So I get 5 Ruffles bags, right? And I don't think I've ever bought 5 bags of potato chips in my life at the same time. So while I'm up at the the counter to pay, and I didn't have a lot of other stuff too. I got some vegetables, and what else did I get? There wasn't a lot there. I mean, what was taking up almost all the space was the potatoes. So anyway, or not the potatoes, but the Ruffles, the fried potatoes in the bag. So while I'm waiting in the line, there's an older man behind me who's in one of those carts, with the basket in the front. And he goes, hey, is that food for you? And I said, what, the potato chips? He goes, yeah. I said, well, yeah, sort of. It's mostly for my girlfriend, though. This is what she really likes these. He goes, oh, he goes, yeah, that stuff is shit. He goes, and looking at you, you look like you're in pretty good shape, but that's the food of a fat man. And I said, well, you know, we eat pretty healthy. We eat mostly vegetables, and we don't eat a lot of junk food, but this is my girlfriend's vice. This is what she likes to snack on. And I said, these 5 bags are probably going to last us at least half the year. So just stocking up while they're on sale. And he's like, yeah, but that food is just shit. It'll kill you. You shouldn't get any of that. And he was making me feel bad because I knew what he was saying was true. And then he went on to explain that he used to weigh 200 more pounds than he did now. And he looked like he was fairly thin now. So, I mean, he wasn't overweight at all anymore. But he explained that he cut all the salt, all the sugar. He said he didn't eat any food with any preservatives. He said all he eats now is fresh, organic food, nothing else. And he had some baked organic muffins in his basket and some organic vegetables. That's all he had. But he was really lecturing me on these potato chips. And funny, all of a sudden I remembered that Ruffles equals 33. And I was like, I wonder if when you flip it around, it's 39. And so funny that happened today. Oh, man. So there's my 39th day of the year story. Getting lectured by the elderly man about eating Ruffles. Which I wouldn't have in my house, but you got to keep your lady happy, so. All right, Truth Seeker. I think that's the end of the show. Nobody else is calling in right now. Oh, yes, they are. What's up, caller?
Hey, Zach, it's New York caller again.
Hey, thanks for calling in. What's going on?
You know, the problem you've been having with your eyes from staring at the computer screens too much?
Right.
Have you heard of some of these glasses that help protect your eyes against the light from screens?
Somebody mentioned getting blue light glasses.
Yeah, that's what they are. Remember, you were on they call themselves The Last Stand. Remember, you were on their YouTube channel. They're really receptive. They gave you really good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, I was looking at some of their videos, and they advertise a brand called Swanwick because they also spend a lot of time staring at screens, and they recommended a brand called Swanwick, like Swan and then W-I-C-K.
Swanwick.
Yeah, Swanwick. They say they know the owner of the company, but they're saying it works great for them because they do the same thing you do. They constantly are watching the screens.
Well, I better do this because I got to be ruining my eyes the way they feel. So, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm on it. I'm gonna order a pair of these.
Also, I don't know, it's kind of ugly subject, but I mean, this is what's going on. We kind of have to address it. But you know, we're talking with Black History Month and all the nooses that are, you know, all these news stories that are coming out.
Yeah.
I never. We talk about all the 42s and the racial coding.
Right.
Did you ever notice that the word hanging is 42?
If I did, I'd forgotten.
Yeah, I noticed the word hanging was 42, but the way I came across it, it wasn't in context of racial coding. I actually came across it in the context of kind of misogyny, kind of anti-female coding.
Well, just
you'll notice that
real quick before you go to that, I just realized hanging is 60, 42, and 30 in the same cipher as the N-word is.
Yep. Also, yeah, I stumbled on it. Actually, I was in the context. I was looking at like misogyny and kind of hatred of women angle, but also the I guess the most common insulting word for a female. No, it's compared to a female dog. The B word. That's 42.
Right.
And the reflection of 42, 24, and 30, which is very similar to the N word. Also, if you look at the word female, it's 42. It's a reflection of 24. and it's also 30. The reason I looked into that, I'm doing this massive decal. I'm working on my blog. I'm trying to hook it up. But I'm doing a mega decode. It's like an overarching umbrella decode with multiple sub decodes within it. It has to do with clouds. I remember I brought up the Royal Order of Jesters and John Wayne Gacy. So I've been looking into the cloud thing, and it's pretty deep stuff. But there's a pop culture icon. She's a female jester. She's the associate of the Joker. Now, I don't follow pop culture, but I'd heard her name is Harley Quinn. That's a play on the word Harlequin.
Right.
I would have heard about it, but I'm really not into pop culture. I didn't watch the movie. She's part of the Suicide Squad, but since I've been doing this research, this decode, I looked into it, and wow, the misogyny is off the hook, and it's also blatant MK Ultra symbolism between the Joker and Harley Quinn. I looked into it. I see what's in the comics, and today's comics are nothing like what I grew up with. Like, holy cow! There's one scene that is in the comic book where the Joker has a chain wrapped around Harley Quinn's neck. Now, this is his girlfriend, and he abuses her, and she doesn't go away because she's really an MK Ultra slave. Like, if anyone knows even a little about MK Ultra, it is so obvious. They might as well just come out and say this is an MK Ultra slave. But he wraps a chain around her neck. And he's trying to get her to change her behavior. And he pulls the chain and he hangs her by the chain. That's why I was looking into it. That's when I looked at the word hanging there. I realized, wow, this actually, it coincides with misogyny, anti-female, and the racial program against black people. That's actually how I kept on hanging. Then I went further, hanging. But this is the Joker who's doing it. And who's the most famous actor to portray the Joker? Who's considered the best Joker?
Jack Nicholson?
It's Heath Ledger.
I was going to say, if not him, then Heath Ledger. Yeah, that would have been my number 2. Okay.
I don't know if you remember, after Heath Ledger died, the next movie he appeared in, he actually died before he finished acting in it. The movie was first movie after he died.
Right.
Was called The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, the opening scene is Heath Ledger hanging under a bridge. Now, there's another word which is related to hanging, and that's choke. Choke is 42. 42 and reflection 24. If you take the name Heath, his first name, Heath Ledger's first name, Heath, and the word choke, it's perfect synchronicity in all 4 ciphers, all 4 base ciphers. Heath is 42, choke is 42. Heath is 24, choke is 24. They're both 93 and they're both 21. So, yeah, that was interesting.
Very interesting. Yeah, great work. Those are good observations.
Also, on the cop shooting thing, I'm talking about some of the incidents that are not mentioned in the mainstream media. One thing that is not mentioned in the mainstream media also is it's an absolute carnage across the United States, which for some reason the media doesn't touch, of cops shooting pets. Pets, and especially dogs, are being slaughtered across the United States. And you can do just a web search on cops shooting pets or cops shooting dogs, and it's pretty dramatic. There's one site that actually says that it's actually considered, they use the word epidemic. It says, here's one from the Washington Post, says, police can shoot your dog for no reason. And it doesn't have to be that way. Let me give an example here. Duchess, a 2-year-old rescue dog belonging to a family in Florida City, Florida, had always been affectionate and curious. So on recent Tuesday, when the police officer approached the home to notify the family that their car door was open, she naturally bounded out to greet him. In a moment captured by disturbing surveillance footage, the Duchess came toward the officer. He instinctively fired 3 gunshots into her head. Before they knew why the officer was there, a family was watching Duchess bleed to death a few feet from their front door. This actually is happening. Also, I signed a lot of petitions online. And I signed a number of petitions on the family trying to get justice for their pets being shot. And I even seen YouTube videos of people putting on YouTube videos saying a cop just shot my dog, but it's at an epidemic rate, and that's one thing that's also not making the news. I'll talk about how when white Americans are killed or shot, they suppress it so that white Americans can continue to trust the authorities. They got to keep it hush hush. Well, they're suppressing this too.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's an epidemic that I think people should be aware of. Also, we talk about Brandon from Gate of Severity. Like he's like you said, he's at another level.
Uh-huh.
I had an idea. You think maybe you could have him on, not just like calling in, like callers do. If you, one thing if you could have him in as a guest, do you think that would be popular with the listeners? Just to have him like, I don't know, either on the podcast or TFR, just have him for like maybe, I don't know, half an hour or something, and just have him like have time to prepare a presentation, and just have him on like a guest.
Yeah, that'd be a great idea. I don't know how much free time he has, but he's obviously been making time in the short while he's been here to call in. So yeah, I'll ask him about doing that. You're the same way. People love when you call in and share your opinion. So
no, thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
I was talking to Richard Quinn yesterday. So I'm just set up on Facebook. I haven't done it yet, but I just want to let him know that I'm going to get on it. So I'm still trying to get my blog set up.
Okay. Yeah, I look forward to that.
I got to do a lot of reading plus other stuff.
Well, I'm looking forward to that.
So I'll see another thing on the 42 and the choke. So I left out. I was going to say. I think Harley Quinn is just completely abused MK Ultra slave. It's off the charts misogyny. She actually wears a dog collar. Of course, that's not how people see it. People think, oh, it's so cute and sexy. No, it's a dog collar. She's being dehumanized. I did Gematria on dog collar. Dog collar is 42.
Huh.
So dog collar is 42. Bitch is 42. Choke is 42.
Huh.
Hanging is 42. Yeah, and hanging is 42.
Amazing. Yeah, I didn't notice all that. Very interesting.
Yeah, I don't even follow pop culture, but now that I'm looking into it, it is horrific. I had no idea it had changed that much.
Yeah, things are getting more extreme, that's for sure.
I mean, some of the things the Joker does to Harley Quinn in the comics, he kicks her in the face. He throws her out windows. He threatened to skin her face off with a razor. It's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, he skinned the skin off his own face and made it into a leather mask. I mean, it's become satanic. I mean, I think what Brandon was talking about yesterday, like there's a virus in the Matrix, clearly.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he's right. So appreciate it, friend. Thank you so much for the call and the observations as always.
Yeah, thank you too, man.
All right, you have a good night.
Yeah, take care.
So Michelle in the chat, she's new here. Thanks for signing up, Michelle. Yeah, this is YouTube. YouTube is still what you see through Patreon. The difference is you get to be a part of the live stream. So when I upload this to YouTube, it's not live anymore. So you have the opportunity to interact. You have the opportunity to ask me questions. You have the opportunity to share with the community that's there. You can call into the phone number. So that's the advantage of doing it on here. And when I first started this, I was going to make it exclusive to Patreon, but instead I just decided to make it live exclusive for Patreon, and then after it's over, open it up to everyone else, because I still do want to get the information out there. And just realize that all of you who are supporting me on the Patreon, which is now a lot of people, I mean, these are the people who kept the work going on. If people hadn't signed up for this in August, I would have been, dead in the water. The research would have stopped in August. Would have been the end of the road. So I do appreciate that you signed up. I hope you're not disappointed. But yeah, it does use the YouTube video player, even though it's Patreon. And you will get other things. When this book's finished and in print, I'm going to look at all the people who've pledged more than $30, and I'm going to get them a copy of the book. So there will be other perks, and down the road I'll come up with more ideas. when we get this rally together, I'm also thinking about getting a t-shirt out to all the Patreon members who've pledged X amount of dollars. You know. Okay, I'm glad you're not disappointed. Appreciate that, Tommy. Thank you. All right, you guys. Well, we are right at 1 hour today, and yesterday we went way over time. I think we'll wrap it up for tonight. Again, the podcast is Monday through Friday, and it's at 7 p.m. Pacific, Monday through Friday, except on Wednesday. Wednesday's the one day of the week where it's in the afternoon. It's 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 Eastern, and that's because I have the radio show on TFR on Wednesday night. And I was thinking by moving it to the nighttime, we'd have more people watching, but it's actually been less since I moved it to the nighttime. So I don't know. I guess I still haven't found the right time slot yet where people are bigger numbers of people are here. All right, you guys. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. Be in touch soon. Take care, truth seekers.